We started the morning with the theme of mobile and how this is the mobile moment and a tipping point for mobile marketing and advertising and so on. And of course, the other big theme, the other buzzword that we're all trying to get our heads around is big data. So this next segment is all about that. How do you harness the power of big data? How do you make sense of it? And how do you develop content that is relevant for big data? And to tell us all about it is the Global Managing Director of Havas Media Group, Dominique Delport. Une cuillère chaleureux. Dominique, bienvenue.
Hello everyone. Absolutely happy to be there with you in Miami and share with you some thoughts, some conviction about data, how data can be used, implemented, and also due to a recent history in the US with the Obama data campaign and also that NSA scandal, what are the learnings for brands and for marketeers. So what I want to convey today with you and to offer you is that pass on the data hysteria. Let's start with that data dilemma that we have all lived from yes we can to yes we scan. And in a few months, we had that huge worldwide report, one of a fantastic success. No one has never used big data at scale in the marketing industry than the Obama campaigners. And we're gonna try to start with that Yes We Code campaign. Imagine that these guys hired 100 data scientists. They knew that when you run for a second mandate and when you're just in the middle of a huge economic crisis, it's going to be tough. It's not the newcomer, it's not the change campaign that would completely root on social media. It was something very different. And for that, 100 data scientists and data analytics were hired by Messina and David Axelrod. And these guys have created some absolutely amazing tools and platform. First of all, the tracking. Everything has to be tracked, as you know. The BarackObama.com website had more tracker than Yahoo.com. And every single citizen or potential voter coming to the website were immediately caught and tracked. Why? To raise money. Politics in the US cost a lot. And the goal was to raise $1 billion in a few months. It's exactly what they have achieved. $1 billion in a few months. And look how they use data and modeling capabilities. For every email, because when they ask what was the channel, the leverage that was the most efficient, I'll say 3, email. So all was about email marketing. 402 email sent to people in the last 2 months. And how to do that? To model the title of the email and to try to calculate the ROI of every subject. According to the words, you can see that. If it's Michelle time, it will generate X $100,000. But if it's I will be outspent, then it was $2.5 million that will be potentially collected. All about the hook, all about the storytelling, to put some drama, to put some tension and cliffhanger like in Hollywood. 1 billion, and also that incredible predictive analytics capabilities. Imagine that every night in the US during the campaign, they rerun the election 66,000 of time. And why? Because, as you know, in the US, you can vote 1 month before. It's the D-Day, but you can start earlier. And each time they collect the data and they grab this data, collect and put in the master database, then they do some predictive analytics and modeling with the algorithm in order to understand where this fight will finish and how the 8 swing states will turn right, left, Democrat, Republican. Every election in the US for a president goes to that 8 swing states. So everything was calculated, and as you know, the coasts are Democrats, the center of the country more Republican, and these 8 swing states like Florida are absolutely pivotal in any election. So it was all about calculating the persuadability. how these people will change their mind according to which element, which assessment, at what time, in which occasion. And look at that. That big data capabilities were also used for TV. 550,000 ads. 550,000 ads. Broadcast in 8 swing states for these weeks of campaign. A crazy number of channels on the Obama camp, not on the Romney that was using only national TV. Due to that micro-targeting, Obama knew that everything should have to be local. So 170 local cable TV used to broadcast closer as possible to the voters and the people that could change their mind, that could be persuadable according to the element of the ad breaks. And for the first time in political history, they mix the data. They fusion the database with all the voting elements with the set-top box base. So we had, for the first time, TV mixing with online analytics in order to create what we have called unconventional programming. Just give you an example. If you look at a young girl, a young lady who lives here in Miami, 28, 35 years old, if you want to catch her, Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy. So don't broadcast Obama like every year, before, after the news bulletin. It's over. Unconventional programming. Because the women who watched that were able and ready to change their mind, to change their vote. And it was all about these few people that need to be convinced in that 8 swing state to win at the end. And obviously, this targeted TV campaign has been incredibly successful. And online, because for the first time, we reached the 100 million. 1 billion the total budget, 500 million paid media, and 20% of that online. And what was invest, you can see the blue curve that is completely different from the Romney camp that completely lost the plot on internet. And till the D-Day, till the last minute, the last moment, a massive push on the internet with a very clever Facebook campaign. Because their problem was also, we have some data, but we can't reach the youngest. We can't reach the millennials over 20 that are able to vote. Why? Because sometimes their phone number is a phone number and the subscription of their parents and not their own phone number. So we need to find a way to reach them. Facebook was the hook. So with that campaign, pick 6 friends, 600,000 Obama volunteers or supporters, reach 5 million of young people in America. And among that 5 million, 1 million go to vote. A fantastic ROI. And again, for the D-Day, a blast using all the online newspaper websites. At the end, you remember that tweet, the most famous tweet in the history, with 808,112 retweets. So it's the record to be beaten. And obviously that 4 more years that have been studied with the MFG lab team, the spread of that tweet, that was quite amazing. So it was a few months ago. And the learning, big data represent an unprecedented potential to better understand consumers, to micro-listen them, to connect linear and social data. Without social data, we wouldn't talk about big data. That social world brings heterogeneity and volume and velocity. It could be video, it could be a tweet, a like, a picture, whatever. This is a very different material than the one previously that you could put in an Excel sheet and study in a linear way. These circular data are updated every day and every minute. And obviously, to target with the granularity at scale, that notion of scale is absolutely critical. And improve your business results thanks to predictive modeling and actionable analytics. That's the first learning. And then we move to that NSA data, that NSA gate. You remember the story, the whistleblower who revealed to the world what was going on. And there was the home, that very famous building. Everyone knew that it was among one of the most retweeted real estate properties in the world during the summer 2013. The PowerPoint, the weapon, a simple USB stick. That huge leak has only been carried by that piece of plastic. And the failure, There is one data that was inaccurate, the name of Edward Snowden. And that's why the national security forces in America missed the guy when he was living, because they thought he was Edward James Snowden, while his name was Edward Joseph Snowden. And a single data can change the story. So data accuracy is still something you need to look at. What was interesting was the poll. And when we ask American citizens, what do you think about that? 54% saw that it was right to do it. It was right to reveal that there was something that was not going on and not going properly according to the First Amendment in the USA. But 53 thought that it was wrong to leave the country and that he should be prosecuted for leaking NSA files. So quite a mixed analysis among American citizens, but obviously all around the world, quite a big scandal. Prism, that was the program, and you remember that all the communication and telecommunication, especially online, are going through America and through the big backbones due to the presence of huge telco provider and also the big internet players. And obviously, all kind of material has been scanned and recorded. A huge micro-listening and tracking system due to national security principle. We were just after the Patriot Act and 9/11. Obviously, all the big American portals were in the room except Twitter. Twitter didn't agree with what was going on. And so starting with Microsoft till Apple in October 12, every single big portal was part of that program. What is great with America when you catch them in such a difficult moment, immediately they open the doors. And all the big players show the world what was the level and the numbers of requests by the legal authorities. And Marissa Mayer and Zuckerberg, everyone explained exactly what were their data privacy policy and why they had to, otherwise they would have been considered treason and put in jail. But among all this debate and controversy, it went a bit further with all the telco operators and millions of Verizon customers that were literally listened to. And obviously, all the encrypted methodology that rule the internet and all the banking transaction is also something that is now under scrutiny. We're here in Miami, and you know that a few hours ago, a few days ago, the Brazilian president, Dilma Rousseff, just tell the world that she was completely against what has been done. Her personal phone was spied for a few weeks and months, which is quite unusual. So beyond that controversy, what does it mean? Because everyone is already talking about the big brother and the plot and the conspiracy theory. It's not the point of today. What is interesting is to understand that, and some have some fun with that NSA gate. I love this, going out for a pizza, friends on the NSA, only me on the NSA, only the NSA. So it's probably a new Facebook status. And probably the best quote of all that NSA gate was the one from our friend Ariana Huffington. It's quite self-explanatory. And again, it's all about the privacy and the right of that anonymity and intimacy, and how we can deal with that in a very digital and 24/7 online world. Big data represents, as well as a huge marketing possibility, an incredible and unprecedented threat to people privacy. Because every digital footprint, social data, phone calls, connected objects, imagine your Nike Fuel Band or every other healthcare connected things that you will buy in the coming months, and all the geolocation will be actionable. Which means that for government, organization, and companies like us, we need to be incredibly cautious how to manage these data assets, how to connect them, how to protect system and people intimacy. This is not 1984, but what kind of regulation are we ready to afford when we will be trackable 24/7? And if we don't want tomorrow, it was a columnist of the New York Times who just say about that data dilemma, live free or go online. And it's a question that we need to talk about in order for everyone to know. And we are quite paradoxical because we don't want government to look at us and listen to us, but at the same time, we put average 100 private data on Facebook. And Facebook is today, and our social pages, a fantastic way of exploding any privacy, because except the credit card number, we put everything on these social networks. So what do you think about that? And what people think about that? Interestingly, companies joined the game. This summer, just at the peak of that NSA gate, Barclays and all the UK telco operator just released that they were selling already your data. For Tesco, it's all your savings and current accounts that have been sold, and for the telco operator, 17 million of customer data. And just a little change in the terms of condition. Font 2 at the lowest level of the page, so no one knows really what's going on. But your data is already a business, and we all know that, and we just need to remember that it's not big data, it's people data. So we need to talk about people. And when we ask about the people, there is that very interesting survey that has been released September the 5th. You can find it on the internet. It has been produced by the Pew Research Center about anonymity, privacy, intimacy online. 13% of internet users report they have experienced trouble in a family relationship because of something they posted online. 1% they lose a job or a job opportunity due to that, or due to something that someone posts about them online. And when we dig who is the most exposed and endangered by these new privacy reality, young adults. They are the most online, but they are also the most that, for instance, had email compromised or taken over, 28%. Stalked, harassed online, 23%. Even online events led you into physical danger, 11%. It's not something that is marginal. Obviously, what's in your heart is less private than what's in your wallet. So when you ask people, all data are equal or not, the financial matters are today the most important secret, not your love or your romance. All data are not equally regulated all over the world. It's another interesting learnings. In Argentina, it's the most constraintful country in LatAm, but in Scandinavia or in other territories like Germany, you will have very strong regulation. And this will have an impact in the way tomorrow we will manage this kind of issue. For advertisers and marketeers, you're going to love that. Who user try to avoid? First, hackers. 2, criminals. 3, advertisers. That's nice. I mean, what a nice company. So again, it means that people are mature more and more. They can be paradoxical. They can sometimes say something and do the opposite, but they know what they don't want. They don't want in any way people to really spam them or harass them or play with their privacy if they just don't know. For 55% of internet users, they have taken steps to hide themselves from this kind of organization. They clear cookies. They clear their browser history. They not use website because that website needs their personal identity, their real name. And for 40%, they encrypt their communication, which was quite surprising. Some initiative to be noticed. First, in the UK, Reclaim My Name, when all the industry, advertisers, and some data aggregators, and also some public organizations are working together to define a new way of protecting consumers and also enabling all these fantastic capabilities of the big data world. Another initiative in the US, you have probably seen that Axiom, which is one of the leading companies in that field, released aboutthedata.com. So here in Miami, you can go online and you can check, if you're American, what the most important database know about yourself. A journalist has done it, some tip in the box in green, but some mistake in red. The data are not all accurate, and we always need to remember to be very humble and lucid, because a database is not just a bunch of truths. A very important initiative last week that was released by the Google exec, The move beyond cookies and the way for Google to create with AD/ID a new way of identification, which means for the consumer, the option for him to opt out brands he doesn't want to be in contact with, and obviously for Google, another way to extend its perimeter and to have a direct access with its ecosystem from ad exchange to YouTube or video advertising. Interestingly, in Europe, as you have seen with Germany, it's where the regulation is the most constraintful today. And Viviane Reding, the EU Commissioner, wants to launch that notion of right to be forgotten. As often in Europe, it's very theoretical, not so easy to implement, but interestingly, they want to create a Schengen zone for data. I don't know if you are familiar with Schengen zone. It's the zone that enables a free circulation for goods and for people in Europe, which means that, except for UK, you can cross countries just without your passport or without boundaries and frontiers, because it is one single market. They want to create the same for data, to apply a unique and consistent regulation for data across European countries, which means for people like IBM that they will need to resync completely their data server footprint to be compliant with this new way of managing the data. The advertising community is under scrutiny. We all know that, and consumers start changing their attitudes. At Havas, we are launching every year a big and very robust survey, Meaningful Brands. 134,000 consumers studied, interviewed in 23 countries, about 700 brands. And when we ask the question about that bond, that relationship between brands and consumer, if that brand disappeared, do you care, do you mind, or you skip it? For 73% of brands, they are just meaningless. People are already ready to skip them, to live without them, without any problem. We need to bring the love back, because that relationship is broken. We all know that. That consumer-brand relationship is really under big pressure. And as in a couple, as in daily life, when that relationship, intimate relationship, is really tough, before bringing the love back, we need to bring the trust back. It's all about the trust and the way we can behave transparently with consumers. And the spectacular failure of Do Not Track, 2 years of initiative by the industry that completely collapsed, I mean, is like a wake-up call for us. So if we want to avoid unilateral restriction from governments that won't, by the way, avoid NSA-like scandal, we need to promote a self-regulation, an active self-regulation, and to multiply initiatives like the one I showed and shared with you. Every company, every marketeer should have data privacy guidelines. This is something that you need to start writing and thinking of. It's quite complex, but you need to show the public that you are completely aware and conscious that this will be more and more a challenge and a duty for brands. But maybe there is a new way to figure out how consumers and brands should connect and interact. And content will be the key. As you know, content starts conversation. Content implies engagement. And the entertainment industry has completely reinvented that trade-off, consumers and brands. How? Look at Netflix. The Netflix success story is the success story of 800 data scientists. 75% of all the TV shows and movies you watch on Netflix has been pushed to you because they know what you like, because they know how you behave. And it's all that recommendation algorithm that enable Netflix to be so relevant. And relevancy will be key, will be a crucial value in that new conversation. And when we put Netflix and we compare the Netflix market share with other cable service or pay TV provider, more than 20% market share, which means that the relevancy, again, is key to compete with some stream of ongoing content. So for the user, it's quite clear. Give me something valuable. And for the brand, buy my product. subscribe to my service. This is the classic trade-off. But if we want to add some rich content, some rich services to get more engagement, then the user will say, okay, entertain me, inform me, teach me some stuff, and again, reward me. And for the brand, engage with my brand and allow me to be more relevant. Because advertising sucks. It's a Steve Jobs quote. We know that. And we know that people don't like to have, even in retargeting, some stuff that they just won't never buy. Or if they have bought the Game of Thrones Blu-ray, they don't want to see Game of Thrones, buy Game of Thrones for 2 weeks because no one told them that they were after the conversion funnel and the buy was already done. So they need relevancy to play with us. And there is a great way of doing that trade-off, which is using the social networks connect. All these ID, the Facebook ID, the Twitter ID, and also the YouTube, Google Plus that have merged ID. And it's the way Warner Bros., for instance, has developed a great social reward platform, a social loyalty program with us, and with that company that we have acquired. A company that is created by a Nobel Prize in Math and with 25 mathematicians in the middle of Paris. So you create a multi-brand platform, then you help people connect with brands through their ID. That enables you, if you manage big data, to have actionable data, and these action data for people engagement can be incredibly positive. Even Zuckerberg had identified the way these guys of MFG are working because they are doing an outstanding job. And for instance, with Warner Bros., we create that My Warner social rewarding platform. And it was quite clear. You go to watch Clint Eastwood or Tim Burton, you never go to watch a Warner. Warner is not Pixar, is not Disney. So it's quite an umbrella brand that no one look after. And the idea was to connect all the dots and to create a sort of multi-platform that can encapsulate all the touch points. It can be a video, a movie, a video game, whatever franchise. Because it's one single consumer, it's one people that interact with some properties. And for instance, with that platform, as soon as you are identified, you get some challenge, you get some rewards, the possibility to have some gamification outcomes like a Foursquare badges system and so on. And look how it works because the results are amazing. So the more you like, the more you win. If you like a trailer, if you tweet it, if you click on it, if you play with that content, immediately, because you are connected with your own social networks, you will widespread this and you will, in return, get some rewards. And with that system that was completely across platform and across devices, in less than 4 months, they gathered 200,000 members. And with that 200,000 members, millions of action and billions of social interaction, they were able to manage these big data amounts in order to get some efficiency in their media buying, to get some efficiency even with their online conversion, because everything was connected. So that big, like airlines mile system, but based on entertainment. And the more we entertain you, the more you will engage with our brands, our franchise. It's maybe easier when you are a movie studio with a lot of content, but in fact, if you look at what has been done in Colombia with the launch today of Talion, the first mobile novella by our team of Havas, you have the same way to engage for a telco operator, people around content. And in that case, 200,000 members, 20 million of pure free media, because you know that Facebook turned the free media into paid media. So if you've got 1 million fans, only 10% of your fan base will see the update. 90%, due to the algorithm, will skip it. The only way to cover the 100% is to pay for the gap, to pay for the 90. But here you've got that direct control and direct access. And in terms of brand equity tracking and optimization of media buying, the conversion on sales on Amazon was multiplied by 6, which was quite an achievement. And even to create a deeper engagement, they gather in a room like that in the middle of Paris, 3,000 fans all day long to showcase all the lineup for 2014. And when the CEO of Warner saw that, he just want to replicate that, and we're going to visit him in the Valley next week. And again, all this algorithm world is quite different. And what we're doing with MFG is literally to try to identify these kind of algorithms that rule the world. For Google, it's EdgeRank, and it's PageRank, and they are now trying to update it. For Facebook, it's EdgeRank. For Twitter, we call that SpreadRank. And you can see not only the follower or not only the messenger like a cloud score, but the message itself at a granular level. And how with a brand service and a brand platform, you can create some intelligence and data mining that will enrich the way you can do your buying with all the ad exchange and all that electronic platform through, for instance, for us, the AFIPF, and then generate more conversion, more efficiency in a commerce world. This kind of virtual loop is able to reconnect people because it's all about their own engagement around their passion through content. That is a beautiful vehicle for engagement, and obviously at the same time with public data that are used for the sake and interest of the consumer. A new era for marketing, thanks to social data. We can jump from customer segment to marketing to individual. It's a major shift. And we can invent customization at scale. But it's only through New Deal that we can build meaningful connection. And relevancy, again, is a key word in that game. We think that content is the perfect vehicle for that new engagement deal by creating that virtuous loop between content-driven service. We talk about API because brands should behave like API, and brands should create their own API, the few lines of code to interact with everyone. Cross-data mining and real-time activation. We can leverage sustainable relationship. Brands need to become super publisher. It will be more and more important to have a content publishing strategy, like it will be more and more important to have an hashtag strategy, because each time you will do and broadcast stuff on TV, you need to have an hashtag, and you need to think of your hashtag, about your hashtag, like you think of SEO, SEM with your keywords. So hashtag strategy will be absolutely crucial for any marketeers, because it will sometimes replace the logo, replace the claim, and has already replaced the URL link. So brands need to behave like tech company, and it's also what we need to do at agency level. So quick learnings, being better listener, data drives new question. It's not only new answer, it's also new question. We need to pivot the way we look at things and problems. Data at the core, no silos. Start by a data audit on your paid, own, and earned dimension, paid data, own data, and earned data. You need a data-driven ecosystem. I was talking about the hashtag. Be agile, focus on action, and not only on collection. A library is great, but an actionable data set is better. And be fair, be transparent, or be ready to a data backlash. Just a few words to end that presentation about Havas, because we have launched our own philosophy on data, and we call that DDOG, data-driven organic growth. We are convinced that for the top advertisers today, they've got in their hand all the elements, all the fuel to sustain the growth for tomorrow. We just need to make it actionable. And it's not only due to our leadership position in LatAm, but it's also a duty. We need to be respectful with the consumers because they are the people who cares and who matters. And we need absolutely to have that values and to implement them. We implemented data backbone 12 years ago, far advanced, Artemis. We have that fully integrated, one single P&L, data plus content approach all over the world. And these world-class mathematicians help us to invent the programmatic marketing of tomorrow through AFIPF. And in November, next month, next month nearly, we will launch the Meaningful Data Manifesto, because we think again that everyone should think in terms of Data Privacy Act. Thanks a lot. These are my data. You can reach me like that. So quite easily, in fact. Have a nice day, and thanks a lot.
Thank you. Dominique, merci.